Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Daily Dose of English. I'm Tom, and I'm so happy you're here with me today. You know, one of the most common questions people ask when they meet someone new is, what do you like to do in your free time? Or simply, what are your hobbies? Today, we're going to learn exactly how to answer this question naturally and confidently. We'll practice vocabulary for different hobbies, learn useful phrases to describe what you enjoy doing, and most importantly, we'll practice speaking together using shadowing technique. By the end of this lesson, you'll be able to have a full conversation about your hobbies in English. You'll know how to ask others about their interests, and you'll feel confident sharing your own. And remember, we'll practice everything slowly and clearly, so don't worry if English isn't easy for you yet. We're learning together step by step, so grab a cup of tea or coffee, get comfortable, and let's dive into today's lesson about hobbies and free time activities. Main lesson. Understanding hobbies. First, let's understand what a hobby is. A hobby is something you do for fun in your free time. It's not work, it's not studying. It's something you choose to do because you enjoy it. Let me give you some examples. Some people love reading books. Some people love reading books. Now you repeat. Others enjoy playing sports. Others enjoy playing sports. Now you repeat. Many people like cooking new recipes. Many people like cooking new recipes. Now you repeat. Now, why is talking about hobbies so important? Well, when you meet new people, whether at work, at a party, or even online, hobbies are a safe and friendly topic. Everyone has something they enjoy doing, right? It's a great way to connect with others and find common interests. Let's start with some basic vocabulary for popular hobbies. I'll say each hobby twice, then you repeat after me. Reading books. Reading books. Now you repeat. Watching movies. Watching movies. Now you repeat. Playing video games. Playing video games. Now you repeat. Listening to music. Listening to music. Now you repeat. Cooking. Cooking. Now you repeat. Gardening. Gardening. Now you repeat. Playing football. Playing football. Now you repeat. Swimming. Swimming. Now you repeat. Painting. Painting. Now you repeat. Taking photos. Taking photos. Now you repeat. Great job! Now let's learn how to use these words in full sentences. When someone asks about your hobbies, you don't just say one word like cooking. You need to make a complete sentence. Here are some simple patterns. I like reading. I like reading. Now you repeat. I enjoy swimming. I enjoy swimming. Now you repeat. I love playing guitar. I love playing guitar. Now you repeat. My hobby is photography. My hobby is photography. Now you repeat. Notice how we use different verbs. We can say like, enjoy, love, or my hobby is. They all work well. But here's a small grammar tip. After like, enjoy, and love, we usually add ing to the verb. So it's I like reading, not I like read. Let's practice this pattern more. I enjoy cooking Italian food. I enjoy cooking Italian food. Now you repeat. She loves dancing salsa. She loves dancing salsa. Now you repeat. We like hiking in the mountains. We like hiking in the mountains. Now you repeat. Describing your hobbies in detail. Now let's make our sentences more interesting. When you talk about your hobbies, don't just stop at, I like reading. Tell us more. What kind of books? When do you read? Why do you enjoy it? Let me show you how to expand your answers. I like reading mystery novels. I like reading mystery novels. Now you repeat. I usually read before bed. I usually read before bed. Now you repeat. Reading helps me relax. Reading helps me relax. Now you repeat. See how much more interesting that is? Let's try with another hobby. I enjoy cooking Asian food. I enjoy cooking Asian food. Now you repeat. I cook every weekend. I cook every weekend. Now you repeat. I love trying new recipes. I love trying new recipes. Now you repeat. Here's a useful tip. Use time expressions to make your sentences more natural. Let me teach you some. In my free time. In my free time. Now you repeat. On weekends. On weekends. Now you repeat. After work. After work. Now you repeat. Every evening. Every evening. Now you repeat. Once a week. Once a week. Now you repeat. Now let's put these together. In my free time I like painting. In my free time I like painting. Now you repeat. I go swimming every morning. I go swimming every morning. Now you repeat. On weekends, I play football with friends. Let's break this one down. On weekends. On weekends. Now you repeat. I play football with friends. I play football with friends. Now you repeat. After work, I usually watch Netflix. After work, I usually watch Netflix. Now you repeat. Asking about other people's hobbies. Now let's learn how to ask other people about their hobbies. This is very important for making conversation. Here are the most common questions. What do you like to do in your free time? Let's practice this slowly. What do you like to do? What do you like to do? Now you repeat. In your free time? In your free time? Now you repeat. Do you have any hobbies? Do you have any hobbies? Now you repeat. What are your hobbies? What are your hobbies? Now you repeat. What do you do for fun? What do you do for fun? Now you repeat. How do you spend your weekends? How do you spend your weekends? Now you repeat. These are all friendly, natural questions. You can use any of them. Now, when someone tells you about their hobby, you want to show interest. Here are some follow-up questions. How long have you been doing that? Let's break it down. How long have you been? How long have you been? Now you repeat. Doing that? Doing that? Now you repeat. That sounds interesting. That sounds interesting. Now you repeat. How often do you practice? How often do you practice? Now you repeat. Where do you usually do it? Where do you usually do it? Now you repeat. Is it difficult to learn? Is it difficult to learn? Now you repeat. Practice section. Common hobby conversations. Now let's practice some complete conversations about hobbies. I'll be person A and then person B. Listen carefully, then we'll practice together. Person E, what do you do in your free time? Person B, I like playing the guitar. I practice every evening after dinner. Person A, wow, that's cool. How long have you been playing? Person B, about 3 years now. It's really relaxing. Let's practice this conversation piece by piece. What do you do in your free time? What do you do in your free time? Now you repeat. I like playing the guitar. I like playing the guitar. Now you repeat. I practice every evening after dinner. Let's break this down. I practice every evening. I practice every evening. Now you repeat. After dinner. After dinner. Now you repeat. Wow, that's cool. Wow, that's cool. Now you repeat. How long have you been playing? How long have you been playing? Now you repeat. About 3 years now. About 3 years now. Now you repeat. It's really relaxing. It's really relaxing. Now you repeat. Excellent. Let's try another conversation. Person A, do you have any hobbies? Person B, yes, I love photography. I especially enjoy taking pictures of nature. Person A, that sounds amazing. Do you share your photos online? Person B, sometimes I post them on Instagram. Would you like to see some? Let's practice. Do you have any hobbies? Do you have any hobbies? Now you repeat. Yes, I love photography. Yes, I love photography. Now you repeat. I especially enjoy taking pictures of nature. Let's break this down. I especially enjoy. I especially enjoy. Now you repeat. Taking pictures of nature. Taking pictures of nature. Now you repeat. That sounds amazing. That sounds amazing. Now you repeat. Do you share your photos online? Do you share your photos online? Now you repeat. Sometimes I post them on Instagram. Sometimes I post them on Instagram. Now you repeat. Would you like to see some? Would you like to see some? Now you repeat. Expressing opinions about hobbies. Now let's learn how to express opinions about hobbies. Maybe you tried something and didn't like it, or maybe you want to try something new. Here's how to talk about it. I find it boring. I find it boring. Now you repeat. It's too expensive for me. It's too expensive for me. Now you repeat. I think it's really fun. I think it's really fun. Now you repeat. It's not my thing. It's not my thing. Now you repeat. I'd like to try it someday. I'd like to try it someday. Now you repeat. I used to do it, but not anymore. Let's break this down. I used to do it. I used to do it. Now you repeat. But not anymore. But not anymore. Now you repeat. It's harder than it looks. It's harder than it looks. Now you repeat. I'm getting better at it. I'm getting better at it. Now you repeat. Talking about new hobbies. Sometimes we want to start new hobbies or we recently started something. Let's learn how to talk about this. I recently started learning Spanish. I recently started learning Spanish. Now you repeat. I'm thinking about taking up yoga. I'm thinking about taking up yoga. Now you repeat. I want to learn how to cook. I want to learn how to cook. Now you repeat. I just joined a book club. I just joined a book club. Now you repeat. I'm interested in learning photography. Let's break this down. I'm interested in. I'm interested in. Now you repeat. Learning photography. Learning photography. Now you repeat. I've always wanted to try surfing. I've always wanted to try surfing. Now you repeat. Storytelling. Maria's new hobby. Now let me tell you a short story about Maria and her new hobby. Listen carefully, then we'll practice key sentences together. Maria works in an office. She sits at a computer all day. After work, she felt tired and stressed. She needed a hobby to help her relax. One day, her friend said, "Why don't you try gardening? It's very relaxing." Maria thought about it. She had a small balcony at home. Maybe she could grow some plants there. The next weekend, Maria went to a garden shop. She bought some pots, soil and seeds. She chose tomatoes, herbs and flowers. The shop owner gave her advice about caring for plants. Now Maria gardens every evening after work. She waters her plants and watches them grow. She says, "Gardening helps me forget about work stress. I love seeing my plants grow bigger every day." Let's practice some key sentences from this story. She needed a hobby to help her relax. Let's break it down. She needed a hobby. She needed a hobby. Now you repeat. To help her relax, to help her relax. Now you repeat. Why don't you try gardening? Why don't you try gardening? Now you repeat. It's very relaxing. It's very relaxing. Now you repeat. She waters her plants and watches them grow. Let's break this down. She waters her plants. She waters her plants. Now you repeat. And watches them grow. And watches them grow. Now you repeat. Gardening helps me forget about work stress. Let's practice in parts. Gardening helps me. Gardening helps me. Now you repeat. Forget about work stress. Forget about work stress. Now you repeat. Cultural notes about hobbies. Did you know that popular hobbies could be different in different countries? In Japan, many people enjoy origami, making art from folded paper. In Brazil, playing football on the beach is very popular. In India, many people love playing cricket. In the United States, lots of people enjoy hiking and camping. The important thing is that hobbies bring joy to our lives. They help us relax, learn new skills, and meet new people. Don't worry if your hobby seems simple or common. The best hobby is the one that makes you happy. Advanced practice. combining everything. Now let's practice a longer conversation using everything we've learned. This will help you feel ready for real-life situations. Person A. Hey, I haven't seen you in a while. What have you been up to? Person B. Hi, I've been pretty busy with my new hobby actually. Person A. Oh really? What kind of hobby? Person B. I started learning to bake bread. It's something I've always wanted to try. Person A. That's awesome. How's it going so far? Person B. Well, my first few loaves were disasters, but I'm getting better. Last week I made sourdough for the first time. Person A. Sourdough is difficult, isn't it? Person B. Yes, it takes patience. You have to feed the starter every day, but the taste is worth it. Person A. Do you bake every day? Person B. No, usually just on weekends. During the week I'm too busy with work. Person A. I'd love to try your bread sometime. Person B. Sure, I'll bring some to the office next week. Now let's practice the key phrases. What have you been up to? What have you been up to? Now you repeat. I've been pretty busy with my new hobby. Let's break it down. I've been pretty busy. I've been pretty busy. Now you repeat. With my new hobby? With my new hobby? Now you repeat. I started learning to bake bread. I started learning to bake bread. Now you repeat. It's something I've always wanted to try. Let's practice in parts. It's something I've always. It's something I've always. Now you repeat. Wanted to try. Wanted to try. Now you repeat. My first few loaves were disasters. My first few loaves were disasters. Now you repeat. But I'm getting better. But I'm getting better. Now you repeat. It takes patience. It takes patience. Now you repeat. The taste is worth it. The taste is worth it. Now you repeat. Common mistakes to avoid. Let me share some common mistakes students make when talking about hobbies. Don't say, my hobby is listen music. Say, my hobby is listening to music. Let's practice the correct way. My hobby is listening to music. My hobby is listening to music. Now you repeat. Don't say, I like play football. Say, I like playing football. The correct way. I like playing football. I like playing football. Now you repeat. Don't say, I'm interested in cooking. Say, I'm interested in cooking. Let's practice, I'm interested in cooking. I'm interested in cooking. Now you repeat. Remember, after like, enjoy, love, and interested in, we use the ing form of the verb, building confidence. You know, many students tell me they understand everything but feel nervous when speaking. That's completely normal. Here's my advice. Start small. You don't need to have a perfect 10-minute conversation about your hobbies. Start with just 1 or 2 sentences. For example, if someone asks about your hobbies, you can simply say, I enjoy reading books. I enjoy reading books. Now you repeat. That's it. That's a complete answer. As you get more comfortable, you can add more details. I enjoy reading books, especially mysteries. I enjoy reading books, especially mysteries. Now you repeat. Then maybe I usually read for an hour before bed. I usually read for an hour before bed. Now you repeat. See, step by step, your confidence will grow. Practice makes perfect. The key to speaking naturally about hobbies is practice. Here are some ways to practice on your own. First, write down 3 of your hobbies. Then practice saying sentences about each one. For example, my first hobby is cooking. My first hobby is cooking. Now you repeat. I learned from my grandmother. I learned from my grandmother. Now you repeat. I especially love making desserts. I especially love making desserts. Now you repeat. You can also practice in front of a mirror. Imagine someone asking you about your hobbies and answer out loud. It might feel silly at first, but it really helps. More vocabulary for specific hobbies. Let's learn some specific vocabulary for popular hobbies. This will help you sound more natural and detailed. For reading, I prefer fiction over non-fiction. I prefer fiction over non-fiction. Now you repeat. I'm currently reading a thriller. I'm currently reading a thriller. Now you repeat. I always have a book with me. I always have a book with me. Now you repeat. For sports, I train 3 times a week. I train 3 times a week. Now you repeat. I play on a local team. I play on a local team. Now you repeat. I'm improving my technique. I'm improving my technique. Now you repeat. For creative hobbies, I express myself through art. I express myself through art. Now you repeat. I find it therapeutic. I find it therapeutic. Now you repeat. I get inspiration from nature. I get inspiration from nature. Now you repeat. Final story. Tom's hobby journey. Let me share a personal story with you. When I was younger, I didn't have many hobbies. I just watched TV after school. But one day my teacher asked everyone to talk about their hobbies, and I felt embarrassed because I had nothing interesting to say. So I decided to try different things. First, I tried playing basketball, but I wasn't very good at it. Then I tried learning guitar, but my fingers hurt too much. Finally, I discovered that I loved languages. I started learning Spanish, then French, and now I teach English. The lesson: don't give up if your first hobby doesn't work out. Keep trying new things until you find something you love. Everyone has a perfect hobby waiting for them. Let's practice some sentences from my story. I didn't have many hobbies. I didn't have many hobbies. Now you repeat. I felt embarrassed. I felt embarrassed. Now you repeat. I decided to try different things. I decided to try different things. Now you repeat. Don't give up. Don't give up. Now you repeat. Keep trying new things. Keep trying new things. Now you repeat. Recap and call to action. Wow, we've covered so much today. Let's quickly review what we learned. We learned vocabulary for many different hobbies, from reading and cooking to sports and arts. We practiced how to ask others about their hobbies, with questions like, what do you do in your free time? We learned how to describe our hobbies in detail, using time expressions and explaining why we enjoy them. We also practiced complete conversations, learned how to express opinions, and talked about starting new hobbies. Remember the key phrases we learned today. I like, I enjoy, I love. In my free time. How long have you been? I'm interested in. I recently started. The most important thing is to practice speaking. Use these phrases in real conversations. Don't worry about making mistakes. Everyone makes them, even native speakers. Here's your homework. Choose one hobby you have or want to start. Practice talking about it for 1 minute. Use the phrases we learned today. Record yourself if possible, and listen back. You'll be amazed at how much you can say. Thank you so much for joining me today on Daily Dose of English. I'm Tom, and I love creating these lessons for you. If this video helped you, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a lesson. Remember, learning English is a journey, not a race. Be patient with yourself, practice a little every day, and celebrate your progress. You're doing great, and I'm proud of you. Do you want more lessons like this? Leave a comment below and tell me what topics you'd like to learn next. Maybe you want to learn about talking about your family, describing your daily routine, or having conversations at restaurants. I read every comment. Until next time, keep practicing, keep smiling, and keep learning. This is Tom from Daily Dose of English, saying goodbye. See you in the next lesson.